Hello there, welcome to Wednesday's Granada Report. We're live across the northwest.
Yeah, good evening. Thanks for joining us. Here's what's coming up on the programme tonight.
At last, the truth about the man freed after 38 years in prison for a murder he didn't commit. Peter Sullivan's lawyer says he's not the monster created by the press.
He was dubbed the Beast of Birkenhead back in the 80s. As you heard from the statement yesterday, that were his words, when he says things like, "I'm not angry, I'm not bitter," that's just a reflection on the man that he is.
Carrying his severely disabled son upstairs to their cramped one-bedroom flat. Can anyone help Dad Stephen, son Harry and his brothers find the home they desperately need?
Can Stockport fans count on County win tonight and they book their place in the League One playoff final at Wembley?
We talked to Amanda Holden, who will be waxing lyrical in Blackpool very soon.
And 10 days, that's how long our gardens and fields have to wait for the next chance of rain. I'll have another dry and sunny forecast.
So first, he's not angry, he's not bitter. The words of Peter Sullivan, the man who served 38 years in prison for a murder he didn't commit.
Yeah, Peter was 30 when he was jailed for life for the murder of Diane Sindel. The press nicknamed him the Beast of Birkenhead after Diane's body was found in an alleyway in the town.
But advances in DNA technology helped to clear Peter's name. As we reported last night, his conviction was quashed in the Court of Appeal.
Well, Peter has been released from Wakefield Prison in Yorkshire and is now with his family. He's made it clear he doesn't want to speak and wants his solicitor of almost 20 years, Sarah Myatt, to talk for him.
Well, Sarah came in earlier and I asked her how he's doing.
He is very overwhelmed, really quite emotional, as you can imagine, but starting to readjust.
Tell me a bit about him for our viewers, because I suppose anyone who knows this case will have had a certain picture of him.
He was dubbed the Beast of Birkenhead back in the 80s, and as we know, he's not. That's not him. He couldn't be far from that title. He is a man who is humble, he's quiet, he's private. And I'm sure, as you heard from the statement yesterday, that were his words, when he says things like, "I'm not angry, I'm not bitter," that's just a reflection on the man that he is.
What was his reaction? You were watching him on a video link,
Yes.
I think, when the result came through.
When the reality dawned on him that that decision had been made and that he would be freed, he just broke down. You could see the emotion in him.
And the frightening thing about this, I think, for a lot of people, is that it sort of suggests that if this can happen to him in a case like this, there may be many others out there.
There could well be. And I think nowadays, with the science that we have, the DNA evidence was pivotal in his case. And, you know, that is really key now for people to have a look at whether that may be available for other people.
Why has it taken so long for him?
Well, the DNA in his case wasn't straightforward. It wasn't a case of a simple DNA test and that could show whether it was him or not, because of the samples that were taken at the time, and the really complex science that was needed to get that DNA testing done on that specific sample.
What about the original police investigation then? Do you think questions need asking at this stage about that? We've heard Merseyside Police are going to reopen the investigation, but should we be looking at what went wrong here?
I think looking back, as we heard in court yesterday, there were questions raised about his the manner of police interview and the way that the case was dealt with in the police station. Thankfully, nowadays, things are very different. I understand that Merseyside Police have reopened the investigation, and we, as well as Peter, as he said yesterday, hope that there is a positive outcome to that investigation, primarily for the family of the victim in this case, Diane Sindall.
I was just going to mention them because obviously there's so much talk about Peter at the moment. Presumably, you and Peter, you have every sympathy with Diane's family at the moment.
Absolutely, yes, because not only have they suffered from the crime itself, they've had to go through this process of Peter's appeal and then the appeal being successful, and that has got to have an impact on them.
What happens with Peter now, day to day? How does he get back to some semblance of a normal life?
He's spent nearly 4 decades in custody, and reintegrating into community is going to take some time, and he will need some privacy while he goes through that transition.
Sarah, thank you. Now, Peter Sullivan and Sarah Myatt are not being critical of the Criminal Cases Review Commission, which rejected an application to have Peter's case reviewed back in 2008.
Yeah, but one person who is being critical is the former Justice Secretary, Lord Falconer. Here's what he had to say today on BBC Radio 4.
It's absolutely horrific that Mr. Sullivan spent 11 years at least in prison when the new test had become available and could have exculpated him. The problem has been for a very long time, and it continues at this very moment. The CCRC, the body that's there to draw attention to these miscarriages of justice, is unled and generally regarded as useless.
Well, for their part, the CCRC told us they regretted not being able to identify Peter Sullivan's conviction as a potential miscarriage of justice in their first review. They said they re-reviewed the case in 2021, by which time DNA technology had advanced, and that they were committed to learn from previous reviews and develop their understanding around forensic opportunities.
Well, let's take a look at some more of the day's news now. And to the family of 5 having to live, or exist as they say, in a 1-bedroom flat. Stephen Murray's 4 sons came to live with him in Widnes last October, and since then he's been trying to get a bigger property so his 7-year-old son Harry, who has cerebral palsy, can use his wheelchair and mobility aids.
Halton Housing Association say his family is a priority. In 7 months, though, 3 properties offered to Stephen have since been withdrawn.
Well, as our correspondent Elaine Wilcox now reports, Stephen has to carry his disabled son up and down the stairs every day.
7-year-old Harry Murray, full of smiles after a day at school.
And we lift it over your head.
But he can't use his wheelchair at home. It's a first-floor flat.
You ready? I'm going to get you up. Up there, yeah. Up. Oh. I've got you.
There's no hoist or lift.
Oh, nearly.
So at least twice a day, his dad carries him up the narrow stairs. So tell us who sleeps where.
Well, in this bed is Cade and Caelan. Then in this one that's folded up here is normally where my 18-year-old Kyle sleeps. But my mum passed away on Mother's Day, so he's sleeping with my dad at the moment over at my mum's, or my dad's. And then on that bed there is where me and Harry sleep.
So 5 of you in one room.
5 of us in one room.
Every night after midnight and the children are in bed, Steve bids for properties on the Housing Association property pool. He secured 3, but the offers were withdrawn, and Harry's health is suffering.
The physio said he's regressing now, he's not progressing, he's getting worse, and it could get to a point where he won't be able to stretch his legs out, and that'll be it.
There's a shower, but it's over the bath, and that's where Harry's getting hurt.
It is, yeah. Well, he gets in the bath and the water's only so deep. While he's going into this, he's bruising his legs either side.
And a wet room would make a world of difference.
It'd be night and day, yeah. With a wet room, he'd be in his wheelchair, he'd be able to get a proper shower, wash himself. It'd be so much easier.
Halton Housing say they appreciate the situation you're in, but they are supporting you.
I don't feel like I'm getting any support. Obviously, I have to take my children away from the scenario that they were in to give them a better life. And I feel like I've gone backwards. I feel like they've gone backwards. I don't feel like they're getting a better life. I feel like, in fact, they're frozen in time because the stuff what they should be doing and getting, they're not. And there's no light at the end of that tunnel. It just seems to be getting darker and darker and dimmer and dimmer. What's up, Baba? Harry?
While we were there, Harry screamed in pain with his legs. Distressing too for his brothers who tried to help.
Like, the only house that we probably need would just be like a house with like enough bedrooms for us. And what if my dad falls? What happened then with Harry?
With Harry, I love him. I love him with all my heart, but I want him to be happy. But right now, he can't really be happy because he isn't getting what he needs.
People have said to me, what would happen if you hurt your back? Like, well, I would be knackered, wouldn't I? What would happen if you fell and you hurt Harry? Well, I'd be knackered, wouldn't I? What am I meant to do? I've got to carry him up. One of them was if I really hurt Harry. I went, well, what am I meant to do? I've got to carry him upstairs, or am I meant to sleep in my car?
Well, that's too bad too.
Harry is at the centre of their world, and they just want a home big enough to see him thrive.
Well, Elaine's here with us now. Elaine, it's just a terrible situation, isn't it, for Stephen and his 4 children?
It's really quite moving and shocking to see the situation that they're living in. Stephen Murray works full-time and he says his employer has actually been fantastic, allowing him to reduce his hours to get the children to and from school, but he is losing faith with the housing situation. He's been told he's a priority, but after waiting for 7 months and still no prospect of a home, it doesn't feel like that. Halton Housing say customers' health and well-being are their top priority. In a statement, they've said, since being made aware of Mr Murray's change of circumstances, we've been working closely with him to support a move to a more suitable home that will meet his family needs. Now, that doesn't go far enough for the family's MP, Derek Twigg. He says he's actually horrified at the family's situation, living in this overcrowded, unsuitable property. He said it's heartbreaking for Stephen and the boys to be told they're moving, and that doesn't happen. The MP told us Halton Housing advised that there's no date for when this family will be adequately housed and no adequate explanation about why the previous house offer was withdrawn. He says he's informed them he's very unhappy with their response and has asked for further assistance for Mr Murray and his children. Now, the MP has told us he wants an urgent meeting with their chief executive. But for the family, it's a case of counting the hours, hoping that they'll get that call to say they've finally found a home for them, and we'll keep pressing for answers too.
Yeah, absolutely. OK, Elaine, thank you.
Next, the mayors of Greater Manchester and the Liverpool City region are calling on the government to fund new rail links between the two cities. Andy Burnham and Steve Rotherham say a new railway line will create more than 20,000 jobs and generate £15 billion. The proposed links will cut journey times for 500,000 people.
10 years ago, people in Greater Manchester and voters across the North West were promised this railway. And here we are, it's not been delivered, and people wonder why there's low levels of trust in politics. You know, deliver on the commitment that was made.
And a big day for the Isle of Man next. The first Wetherspoons there has been officially opened by the Mayor of Douglas. The Connister Arms is located in the former 1886 building in the city centre. It's been named after the Connister Rock in Douglas Bay, on which the landmark Tower of Refuge stands.
It's really great that we've got a new business investing in our city centre. Wetherspoons has a great reputation for gathering people from all walks of life, so I think it's going to be a great asset for residents, workers and visitors alike.
Yeah, just in time for the TT as well in the next week or so. Right, time now for a look at what's to come on the ITV Evening News. Here's Romilly.
Coming up on tonight's ITV Evening News, a man is sentenced to 14 years for killing 2 people, including a 7-year-old boy, in a drug-related house explosion in Newcastle. Ripped off, the campaigners calling for an end to unfair practices in the insurance industry. And the primates offering primary care in the jungle. Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Well, next tonight, to a condition that millions live with and is the leading cause of infertility in women in the UK.
Polycystic ovary syndrome is a hormonal condition that affects the way the ovaries work, with many told they may never be able to conceive naturally.
Well, 2 years ago, we spoke to Devika Digpal and her husband Mandeep. who were one of those couples given that devastating news.
But we're happy to say that after 8 years, all that's changed. Our reporter Lauren Ostrich has more.
I love you. I love you.
Those three little words hold so much meaning for a couple who have tried for almost a decade to have a baby.
I can remember that moment holding and I just thought, this isn't real. Like, this can't be happening.
When Davika was a teenager, she was diagnosed with a hormonal disorder called polycystic ovary syndrome, or PCOS. It affects 1 in 8 women and is the leading cause of infertility in the UK. There's currently no cure, and treatment is limited.
We were back and forth with the doctors trying to see what else was possible, IVF, fertility treatment. There's times that I just didn't want to be here anymore because PCOS does affect your mental health as well on top of everything else.
The couple from Stockport saved thousands for private healthcare, and after 2 rounds of ovulation treatment, they finally saw the 2 red lines they'd been waiting for.
She gave me a shoebox and with some gifts in it and a baby grow. I was like, oh, how much did this cost? After a while, I was like, well, it's really happening and I can't believe it. And she's a natural mother as well, and she deserves to be a mother.
Hello.
Infertility caused by PCOS is an uphill battle so many people face across the northwest. And with millions of women in the UK living with a diagnosis, research and support is few and far between. But that could soon change.
They'll be holding an inquiry, a parliamentary inquiry into the diagnosis and management of PCOS in the UK. Women are not satisfied. They are often gaslit, they are ignored, they are dismissed. And so we're really, really excited about the potential for change that the APPG unlocks for us.
The findings of the parliamentary inquiry are due to be published in July. It's hoped it'll bring about much needed change and see more people like Davika and Mandeep get their happy ending too. Lauren Ostrich, ITV News, Stockport.
And if you've been affected by the issues raised in Lauren's report there, you can find more help over on our website. Just go to itv.com/Granada.
Oh, so glad they got the happy ending. How gorgeous was Harpreet. Now to football, and tonight Stockport County are just 90 minutes away from a trip to Wembley. It's all square in their League One playoff semi-final heading into the second leg.
Chris Hall is at Edgeley Park for us this evening, where the fans have seen their fair share of promotions in recent years.
Yes, when local businessman Mark Stott took over Stockport County 5 years ago, his dream was to lift them out of non-league football and up to the Championship inside 7 seasons. Tonight he stands on the brink of achieving that 2 years early. How much of this club's success has been down to manager Dave Challoner? He's already led this club to 2 promotions in the past 3 years. Tonight he stands very, very close to a 3rd.
We've got an opportunity in front of us that we want to take, and we hope we can do that. But if not, the football club's in a really, really good place, continues to move forward. The supporters will always play a huge part in that. And whether it's this year or whether it's years down the line, eventually, because of Mark's drive and ambition, this club will be a championship club one day. We hope above anything that we can make that a day that happens really soon.
Everyone's buzzing. Obviously, it's been a long, hard season. We've had a good league campaign, so everyone's just buzzing to get us the playoffs and hopefully finish the job. It's everyone's dream to play at Wembley, and yeah, hopefully we can get there and get promoted. That'll be unbelievable.
Yes, a place at Wembley is the prize for the winners tonight. And joining me now is Stockport County's club president, Steve Bellis. Steve, how are the nerves?
They're holding up. It's all the nerves, really. You get all the emotions tonight, the excitement. Obviously, you're bound to be nervous, a game of this stature. But, you know, it wasn't that long ago we were playing our trade in National League North. And to be here tonight with a chance of going to Wembley and getting in the Championship is incredible. So let's enjoy the moment. Let's enjoy everything. Whatever happens tonight, it's been a great season.
Yeah, you've already had 3 promotions in 6 years. How much can that big match experience help you tonight?
It clearly puts in a good place. We've had some really tough times. I mentioned National League North. That's a very tough division to get out from. We did that. Getting back in the Football League for me was a massive achievement. There were so many fans thought we'd never ever manage that, and they might never see Football League football here again at Edgeley Park. But here we are, not only back in the Football League, but on the verge of potentially a trip back into the Championship. It's a long time since we were in the second tier, and tonight's probably the biggest game since the 28th of April 1997, when we made that leap last time.
And yet, despite all that success, everyone just goes on about Wrexham and their Hollywood owners. Don't you guys deserve more of the credit and more of the spotlight?
We're quite happy the way we do things. I mean, Wrexham, of course, they've got the Hollywood owners, they get the media attention. It's not the media attention that we want. We want to stay humble, stay who we are. We've built this club on the right foundations, doing things the way we feel is the right way, being a central part of our community, encouraging young people to come here, giving back to the community. We've done it the right way. It's stood in good stead. I'll never criticise any other club for the way they do things. I just like the way that we do it.
Brilliant, Steve. Well, good luck for tonight. Hope the nerves hold up for the players too. Well, it's not just Stockport County in playoff action tonight. Oldham Athletic have their game against Halifax in the National League playoffs. It's their first playoff campaign in 18 years. Rochdale have their National League playoff tomorrow. Both clubs hoping to follow in the footsteps of Stockport County by getting back into the Football League.
Thank you very much, Chris. And good luck to all of our teams hoping.
Oh, there'll be some anxious people tonight.
Yeah, but what an atmosphere it's going to be. And humble Stockport. Who'd have thought it? Who cares about Wrexham? Anyway, this year marks a first in Britain's Got Talent's 18-year history, as all the auditions, of course, were held here in Blackpool. Amanda Holden, a judge who's been with the show since it began, mentioned that staying in the resort during filming felt like being in a home from home.
Well, now Amanda will take residence in Blackpool permanently in the form of a wax figure at Madame Tussauds on the promenade.
Well, our entertainment correspondent Caroline Whitmore secured an exclusive TV interview with Amanda in London at the world-famous Merlin's Magic Making Studio during her first sitting for the wax figure.
It's our very own Amanda Holden.
Harry, you're a proper wizard.
Amanda, we're here in London. This is where the magic happens because you're getting your very first wax figure for Madame Tussauds in Blackpool. How excited are you?
I've always gone, oh my gosh, that is like a dream come true. I've been to Madame Tussauds. I was lucky enough for it to open one with my friend Lee Francis. And I was just going, oh, wouldn't it be a dream, Lee, if one of us got it? And now it's happening to me.
What pose are you going for?
I will go for my signature sort of hand on hip, so your arm goes back slightly so you look like you've got a thinner arm. So when you see it in Blackpool, Madame Tussauds, and you need a pose for your wedding shot, that's the pose.
Copy Amanda's pose.
Copy. Hopefully it won't be covered in spots and scabs like I am today.
Well, stop. We've seen you on Britain's Got Talent. Obviously, you've been a judge for the last 18 years. All of the auditions this year were in Blackpool, weren't they? And now you're going to be part of the town.
It's huge. Blackpool is obviously the centre of entertainment in our country. It's known for the sort of the good old days, the end of the pier shows. Simon was absolutely knocked out by the warmth. The producers have told me off, actually, because I keep doing this, because my ears are actually ringing from that amazing crowd. So I think we'll be coming back now for the foreseeable future. The people are so lovely, and where we stay, it feels like home from home. I ordered some room service, and this lovely lady brought me this little tray, and she went, God bless, love, God bless.
Oh.
When she shut the door, and I was like, oh my God, that's like my nan used to say that.
Oh, yes, exactly.
To
And
me.
you even had the accent then.
Oh, thanks.
Very proud of you for that.
Thanks, babe.
We love that.
I might sit my waxwork next to Simon, then go off and bash a wall down with Alan Carr and see if Simon notices anything.
Yeah.
He'll probably say, I didn't notice the difference, darling.
It's Heart Breakfast with Jamie Theakston and Amanda Holden.
You are so busy at the moment. I don't know how you manage to keep your eyes open. You're up early for Heart Breakfast. You're live on BGT. Recently, the Netflix show.
Welcome to Cheat. Unfinished Business.
Which is in the top 10 in 25 countries, including America. Are you impressed I've remembered that?
I'm so impressed.
What is your secret?
Oh, I honestly think it's come from the fact that I've had my nan was a working mum, my mum was a working mum. So the Netflix job was in Spain for 2 weeks, but I was also hopping on a plane because I was building a house with Alan in Spain. So I was going
Your life is so random.
It is. And then, it's funny, because I had my hairdresser do my hair this morning, he said, what are you doing today? I said, oh, I'm having a wax. Baby went, I can't believe your life. I went, I know. I hate people that say they're blessed. I do feel like I'm really blessed. Hitting 50, this has been like my best decade. I look at Davina McCall and I look at Tess Daly and I look at all my peers, and that is something that's changed in this industry for the better.
Yeah.
We're still going, showing the younger ones how to do it. The Gen Zers.
Yes, exactly.
Bro.
Oh, my son calls me bro.
Oh my God! I was just about to say, my daughter Holly calls me bro, and I'm like,
yeah, I'm your mum.
I am your mother, bro.
So lovely to chat to you.
I could talk all day.
I know, we just sit here.
I know, sorry.
I've got to edit
turn
this.
into a podcast.
Bro.
Right, bro. Oi! You will see me and Madame Tussauds in Blackpool, and Britain's Got Talent will be back with the auditions at that beautiful theatre in October.
Thank you.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thanks, darling.
Cool.
Even Amanda Holden gets called bro. When I pull my kids up for calling me bro, they go, all right, Kate. The disrespect.
That is shocking. My daughter calls me father and will stay calling me father.
Well, let's hope they're keeping all those wax figures nice and cool in Blackpool, because the hot spell's continuing. Nick's got all the details.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello, many of you watching will of course be loving this fine weather, but some of you will go, I need some rain on the garden, on my fields. There is none of that in the forecast at the moment, all down to an area of high pressure blocking Atlantic weather systems from coming our way. Here it is today, just fast forward to Monday, it's still here, basically in the same place and dominating things through much of next week as well. So it is high pressure, it is here today, and here again next week as well. We have to wait towards the end of next week for the first chance of a breakdown and the possibility of getting some rain into the next bank holiday weekend. We'll keep, of course, following that. For now, though, we are, well, set fair with the dry weather, plenty of sunshine and not quite as warm as it's been, but still temperatures are above the average for the time of year. Bit of a breeze out there today, but we're ending the day with lots of sunshine. Some cloud may just track towards us from the east into Pennine areas into tomorrow morning, though most of us will start with the sunshine. A little bit chillier as well, so we're talking temperatures which are going to be falling towards the low single figures in the chilliest spots. Your sun time, so sunrise tomorrow is just after 5 a.m. and your sunset is now after 9 p.m. And most of us will have the sunshine from the word go. If you've got a bit of cloud, some of us had that this morning. It won't last too long, break up, clear away, and then it was just blue sky all the way for the rest of the day. There'll still be a breeze, not quite as brisk or as gusty as it's been today, and we're talking temperatures which are high teens and low 20s, so a few degrees above the average for the time of year. Still strong sunshine and high UV, and remember that area of high pressure, and that's why the weather is repeating itself, perhaps a bit more cloud on Saturday.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Making the most of summer. Piri sponsors ITV pollen count.
Some better news about pollen levels at the moment, because the tree season has just about finished. The grass pollen season still to get underway. That's why we are looking low for the rest of the week. Enjoy your evening.
Good news. Thank you, Nick. And that is it for Granada Reports this evening.
Well, it's just time to say one or two Blackburn Rovers fans have asked us to remind everyone that it's 30 years to the day since Rovers were crowned Premier League champions. Blackburn, managed by Sir Kenny Dalglish, featuring Alan Shearer and backed by their legendary owner, Jack Walker.
Only 30 years, but football seems very different now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does. Good night and thanks so much for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.